sees the means of production, and the like and subscribe button.
So as President Trump's mass immigration enforcement continues,
God, this guy looks
a
like
leaked
shit.
document is detailing a supposed plan by federal authorities to conduct a large-scale raid targeting illegal immigrants in Los Angeles.
This is interesting. The Los Angeles Times has obtained a leaked internal federal document detailing the plans. The outlet reports that the planned raid was going to be such a large-scale operation that ICE agents were also going to be joined by the FBI and DEA, with this raid supposedly set to happen before the end of the month.
Trump's administration is starting to express frustration over these leaks. Newly sworn-in Attorney General Pam Bondi has issued a clear warning.
Have you considered perhaps just not doing things that are so evil that they keep getting leaked to the press? What if you just didn't do stuff that gets leaked to the press, you know? Like, what if breaking new leak from the Trump administration, the leak is an internal memo saying everything's fine, smiley face. Seems like it'd be okay then.
Last night, for those responsible.
If anyone leaks anything, people don't understand that jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. And if you leaked it, we will find out who you are and we will come after you. And it's not going to stop our mission. It's not going to stop the president's mission to make America safe again.
Nothing makes your regime look good than less than 1 month in, you needing to take to a private news network to say, as the attorney general, hey, don't leak stuff. I know we're doing bad stuff. Don't leak it, please. Like, it makes them look like the administration is full of holes. It's like a sieve. Of course there are going to be leaks. Yeah, you skipped security clearances on everyone. Elon Musk and a team of groomed Discord kittens are running around, but to every, like, you know, administrative branch, dragging their balls on the table. There's like no adults in the room, for lack of a better term. Of course there are leaks. It leaked so much during the first admin. This time it's going to be so much worse. Yeah, 100%. And one of the big reasons for that, and I know this sounds crazy because we only really interact with the right wing in the context of like deeply mentally ill Facebook uncles and all of their politician and pundits who are basically just Nazis. But there are a lot of people who work with Republicans who are constantly astounded time and time again of how bad they actually are. Like the falled for it again bit, there are lots of Republicans who are like, I want lower taxes and to cut down on waste. Thank you, Doge. And then they get into like they're like a staffer or they're in some administrative position or whatever. And then they're like, wait, hold on a second. I'm not going to reevaluate my broader political beliefs because those are beyond reproach. However, it is odd how all the people I'm working with are psychopaths. Maybe I should leak something. That happened all the time during the first Trump administration. It wasn't all just like Mitt Romney style neocons who were like ideologically opposed to MAGA. It was people with MAGA who were like, hold on, I have just enough going on in my head to understand that this is potentially really bad. You know, that'll keep happening.
We were very clear with the lawsuit that we filed in Chicago that if you don't follow the law, you will be prosecuted by the Department of Justice.
So this is the latest news that comes after Trinidad gang members were allegedly tipped off in Colorado just last week ahead of a raid planned there. And raids in Chicago were also delayed last month after another media leak.
Well, between the leaks and the handful of Democrat-led cities still trying to hinder raids and deportation efforts by declaring sanctuary city status, we'll continue to see how President Trump's deportation efforts unfold. But as we see these stories about how apparently there are leaks coming from inside.
They got one person. Denver ICE raids targeting 100+ gang members yielded one alleged gang member. 29 people were also detained. So what, 29 were just random people and the one was just a single alleged gang member? Okay. Doing well, doing good. Literally one guy in this case, yeah. ABC News interviewed and obtained Ring doorbell footage from one person that revealed agents once going door to door. Asking, what does that look like? Can I get a video of that, please?
Federal agents.
These raids.
Sat doors. At one of the apartment complexes, we obtained some Ring video that shows some of these exchanges between ICE agents knocking on these doors and the residents who answer the doors.
Good question. Do you have any drugs in the house? Can we come in and check? No? Speak English? Okay.
Of course.
Is there anyone in the house?
No, nobody's. No, it's just me and my dogs.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, really the heavy arm of the federal government weighing down on these folks.
Well, law enforcement sources tell us at this particular sweep at that apartment complex that we saw yesterday, they had warrants for 2 apartment residences, 2 units.
Including this one?
But as we saw and as residents told us, they were kind of more going door to door, knocking on many doors throughout.
Yeah, classic. That's what they do this every time. They get like specific info on someone who may or may not actually be undocumented, and then they're like, well, as long as we're in the Mexican neighborhood, we're just gonna hit up everyone, you know? Yeah, never invite them in. Don't even answer the door if you see them out there. Or sorry, don't answer the door. Don't open the door. Like, you can talk through the door, just don't let them in, okay? It's good with those like doorbell camera. Can you just not answer? I mean, it depends. If they, you know, in a practical sense, like you not knocking or not answering probably won't amount to much of anything. You can not answer. It's I guess really just a matter of whether or not you feel would prompt them to do anything. Is this a state by state thing? If you don't answer and they know you're there, sometimes they'll take that, they'll use that as like a probable cause kind of deal, you know? Like the only reason you wouldn't answer if you were there is because you were, you know, you have like a suspiciously Tren de Aragua member shaped lump in your throat. You know what I mean?
We even saw them stopping cars that were going in and out of the apartment complexes, questioning residents.
Great,
the way
dude.
that ICE agents later explained this was based on their investigations. Some of the people they were targeting who they believed were in this apartment complex tend to hop around from apartment to apartment, moving around. And so that was sort of the reasoning why they felt the need to knock on multiple doors, kind of canvass the entire unit. But we're seeing a lot of this throughout the Denver and Aurora areas, in neighborhoods, in communities, and some of these apartment complexes.
And Mullah, how significant is the scale of these raids for the Denver area? And do you expect them to continue?
At least in PA, if there's evidence your home, they can just break into your house. My recommendation, if the cops show up, would be to talk to them through the door, or like the door if you need to be understood, because you don't want them to see you walking around past the front windows when you're not answering the door, because then that means you're too busy doing fentanyl or something in order to answer the door. Don't even the door. Legally speaking, them shoving the door open if you've cracked it is the same as them just breaking your door down. Like, if they're not invited in, they're not invited in. But talk to them through the door if you can.
It looks like the Department of Homeland Security, or ICE, just goes to show you some people are not on board in those departments with the president's plan.
So annoyed by this. I come at it from 2 prongs. First of all,
some doors still have a metal chain so you can open a bit of talk. Yeah. So they're like vampires. Yeah, you don't invite them in, and if they ask to come in, say no. If they have a warrant, they can just come in anyway. It's not like they need your permission. Well, they do need your permission unless they have the warrant. Throw garlic at them? Don't throw garlic at them.
Got to find out who the leaker is. They got to be prosecuted. The badge needs to be stripped. If they're a part of the administration, they should be banned from working from any type of administration going forward. But number 2, and maybe this is just a personal standard because of my connection with law enforcement, I don't think it should be printed. It puts their lives at risk. Maybe that's just a personal view, Carly, but you got to understand the severity.
I understand what you're talking about, because we're talking about criminals here. And during President Trump's interview with Bret Baier, the Super Bowl one that aired yesterday, Bret asked him, "What is success? How do you unite the country?" And he says, "The way to unite the country is through success. And getting criminals out of this country who are here illegally is what success looks like." Right. And last week...
Speaking of, Trump is reportedly angry that deportation numbers aren't as high as he promised. It's driving him nuts. I believe that completely. We saw that. Yeah, the total number of deportations so far hasn't ramped up that much. ICE has gotten a lot of arrests, but a lot of them have just been turned back out because they were literally just like random arrests with no evidence against them. Or like in a lot of cases, they're arresting citizens. You know what I mean? Who are just getting turned back out, or they're undocumented immigrants who are getting turned back out because they don't have the prison space to hold them. They don't have like the capacity to hold them. It's really difficult to do this. So the rule of law holds for now? Yeah, for now. The White House disputed the report. The best way to convince people that you're not mad about the number of deportations you're doing is to respond to an NBC News report directly contradicting it. You know what I mean? Like, don't put in the newspapers that I'm mad, but literally hundreds of violent, predatory, and gang-affiliated criminal illegal aliens that have, Jesus Christ, that the word slop, the goddamn key phrase slop here. Violent, predatory, gang-affiliated, criminal, illegal aliens have already been rounded up and deported by ICE. Just hundreds? Our administration official is aligned to securing our borders, ensuring mass deportations are conducted quickly and effectively to put Americans and America first, it said in a statement. According to publicly released figures, the agency's highest single-day total was 1,100 arrests, though it regularly fails to crack 1,000. And this is just arrests. I bet less than like a third of these are actually in line to become deportations. I'd be surprised if it was a third. That would be like a lot. Trump border czar Tom Homan suggested earlier this week that leakers, protesters, and sympathetic members of the press were spoiling the element of surprise for certain operations after a mass Colorado raid intended to target over 100 members of Tren de Aragua attracted public attention and reportedly netted just 30 arrests with a single confirmed gang member. Have they considered the possibility that they might have been giving the game away a little bit by running an entire presidential campaign where they were screaming about the fact that they were going to do all of this? Like, you don't necessarily need internal leaks to figure out when ICE is targeting your city. You can tell because they physically move in. ICE is a federal agency. You see like a big inflow. If you're actually a gang member or even like remotely connected to how this information disseminates, you see when people are coming in, you know, like it's not, there's a limit to how quietly you can do this. Data shows the Biden administration deported more people annually at its peak than any other in the last decade, including Trump. Thank you, Biden. Just check hotel pricing. If it goes up, feds are renting. True. I don't know if that's true or not, actually, but it sounds clever, so I'll agree. True. Oh, that's cute. Chuck Schumer put out like a whistleblower website. But since Chuck Schumer has the charisma of like a raisin, it got no attention whatsoever. I wonder if anyone's going to use this. What if there isn't any leaks and they're just saying the leaks exist to make excuses? Well, I think there are leaks. I just think that these raids would be pretty ineffective even if there weren't leaks. We know that there are it's not like ICE wasn't doing mass deportations under Biden. That's what the Trump administration has desperately tried to get people to turn their eyes away from, is the fact that like the standard that you're trying to drive, the comparison you're making to the previous administration, they were already in a lot of cases kind of giving it their all. The bullshit that you heard from Border Patrol or ICE agents about how they were being muzzled by the Biden administration was just bullshit. They were deporting a ton of people, and so was Obama. Like, it's just they were already trying their best. Maybe not necessarily their best, but you know, there's just a limit to how quickly you can do this sort of thing. Does Trump really want to deport everyone or just go after the easy ones? I maintain that Trump just wants to go after the easy ones, because the economic consequences of going after like even a significant portion of our undocumented immigrants would be ruinous. As a consequence, he probably just wants to really, really, really gas up the propaganda on deporting some of the more obviously criminal ones. Pretend that it's a big deal, you know? By the way, you were correct during the election. I've seen so many middle to old age Republicans who warn their hombres about ICE if they see anything in the neighborhood on Instagram. It's a bit of hopium. Yeah, I actually, it's weird you say that, or maybe not weird, I guess, but it's apropos that you say that, because I got a lot of messages over my weekend break, emails, DMs, whatever, that were basically people saying like versions of that, which was like, hey, I have dipshit Republican parents, but I heard them saying something like, I know that like ex-Hispanic coworkers' grandparents are undocumented or whatever. I hope they're okay, or something like that. Or like, my coworkers are transphobic, but I came out to them like 2 years ago, and they're always being nice to me. So there's like a disconnect, but they still haven't like shifted to being as rude to me personally about it as they are broadly. And again, like it just comes down to the fact that I really do think people are nicer now than they used to be. I do. It's just easier to connect to people now. It's easier to like, it's easier to engage in this like political obfuscation where you hate X group in like an abstract political way, but interpersonally you're like, well, the one I know is all right. It's not rational, and I'm not defending that hypocrisy. I'm just saying that it's been known to happen. There is a huge difference between being sort of like, you know, anti-gay marriage because you think it's wrong and being directly hateful towards like a gay cousin you have or something, you know? I'm not saying there aren't people who aren't hateful to their gay cousins, but it's a lot less common. It is really, you know? Something like 40% of America, or 34, I don't know, whatever, like a third, we'll say a third to a half, something in the ballpark, whatever. A third to 2/5, get a range, whatever you want, is opposed to gay marriage politically. But I don't think a third to 2/5 of Americans would be like vitriolically homophobic to a person they knew and cared about. Maybe like a tenth. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. People did that in Germany too. There's literally a big speech from Goebbels where he's like, stop protecting your one Jewish friend, to a bunch of high-ranking Nazis. Yeah, they did that too. But we're not quite there yet, thankfully. You know, it's just, I think it's important to understand, hey, Vaush, news of it got heavily overshadowed by the Super Bowl, but my friend got caught up in an ice raid in Philly during the Super Bowl. How rude! You're doing ice raids in Philly during the Super Bowl? What do you do? I guess because you know everyone's at home. He was released because he's a citizen, but he missed the win. Did he catch halftime? Trump hates the birds? Well, yeah. As someone who doesn't really follow sports, I was delighted to see that you saw, what's the, you know, what was that one tweet? I can always tell when a big sports event is happening in the United States because Maoists start tweeting like, I'm so happy to see the proletarian vanguard X team finally defeating the petite bourgeois reactionary revisionist American you know, Y team or something. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's and that's all I saw with the Chiefs and the Eagles. So I'm glad that the, you know, third worldist backed pick won on that one. Kendrick was drippy too. Yeah, I mean, I saw the halftime show, and we'll talk about that. We'll get to that, you know, don't worry. He missed the halftime show, literally arrested just before it. That was the worst halftime show ever. 400-pound MAGA America. Yeah, basically. You forgot to say they were white. Why are we calling the Chiefs fascists? I don't know. Vibes? I don't know. Literally every single conservative / pedo on Twitter hated it all. You repeat yourself. Kind of cool how in the wake of, you know, like American fascism, like really rearing its head, kind of cool that the Super Bowl halftime show was like, what was the last time one was that black? I don't know enough about sports, but that was like pretty up there in the how black the halftime show was, you know? Like if you were sort of rating them along the spectrum, Bruno Mars maybe. Really? I don't want to say anything untoward. You know, I'm aware of what my my skin color is, but Prince maybe? Okay, well that's before my time. I don't know. Here's that Maoist tweet. The Kansas City Chiefs, parentheses racist, have been abolished by the vanguard of all oppressed nations. Glory to the People's Republic of Philadelphia and all who defend them. Exactly. This is the capacity in which I want to engage with sports. Pretty much like that, and then I'm done. I'm good. Okay. Somebody linked me Elon Musk replying 100 to a tweet, and I think the context of this was that Elon is being more open about replying to Nazis. It's literally from a suspended account. What the fuck did they do? What was 100? Now I'll never know. Is it Kanye?